Law Firm Left Behind. Today I've got with me DJ Myers. Hey Dave, how you doing today?
Good.
Vinny, also Vinny, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
All right. Well, I'm super excited about today because it's kind of a surprise for me and Vinny. Dave has put together an unboxing for Cosmolex, and so we're really in the blind here, right, Vinny?
No, not really.
I'm
Danny's worked with
blind.
it a little bit before.
What's that, Dave?
Danny's worked with it some.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, but I say we're blind as to what you're going to talk about.
Right.
Right. I mean, we've all seen it. We've all worked with it. But to hear you talk about it, what you're going to focus on, Dave, Vinny and I have no idea. Dave completely put this together. But before we dive into pulling the tape off and open the box, Dave, I'd like to tell everybody what No Law Firm Left Behind is all about real quick. Again, we're focused and targeted towards law firms, and our goal is to help make your law firm more competitive, keep your attorneys and staff productive, and get your clients calling, right? Keep them calling and get new clients calling. So every week we do something on one of those pillars, and this week is about technology, and the whole idea of unboxing a product is to help your law firm be more efficient, right? More productive. So anybody, you guys want to add anything to that before we dive right into what Dave wants to say?
I'm going to be chatting plenty here, so I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's dig in.
Okay,
Yeah.
Dave, you got something to show, or do you just want to go talk? What are you going to do here?
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pull up. What I've done is I've created a little presentation that has a number of screenshots. Hopefully, Jim, if you could just confirm that that's up full screen for you.
I see it right here on my screen.
Great.
Yep.
And so what I've done here is put together a list of sort of, the important things that people would really actually care about seeing when it comes to an online practice management system like Cosmolex. And I want you guys to jump in if you have anything to add anywhere, any questions, anything like that.
Well, Dave, I'm going to position real quick. If you're not going to position, cloud-based today is the way to go. I mean, it's simple. Honestly, I watched a few videos across the internet on different products, on-premise and cloud-based solutions. And right now, especially during COVID, and hopefully we're coming to the end, but you just never know anymore. Cloud-based it gives everyone the ability to work anywhere, anytime, any way that they want. So, Dave, are you going to go into some of that, or?
Really, no. I think the point here when it comes to the cloud-based solution is exactly what you just said. You can work anywhere. You don't have to manage internal infrastructure. You don't have to manage updates. You don't have to manage patching. You don't have to manage security like on the back end. It's usually much better mobile experience. So I think the core is that we have to look at these different cloud-based solutions, and Cosmolex is just one of many that are out there. But it's the one that we're focusing on because it really seems to do a fantastic job of creating a comprehensive solution that does everything. And so, go ahead.
Just to chime in there a little bit as well, for all that it does, it's cheap compared to buying servers and implementing different pieces of software. So, I'm sure you're going to get into this, but it does accounting, it does your matter management, and it does your document management. So,
it provides an entire solution. You don't have to go get anything else if you have this.
That's right. And if you tried to get all those different solutions yourself and host them on site, you'd be spending a lot of money on servers and software.
And trust me, I've been doing this, and I know you guys have too. I've been doing this for over a decade, and 10 years ago, your only option was to roll servers for all this stuff. And you think back to some of the document management systems that we've worked with in the past. Sometimes you need multiple servers just for your DMS, and then you add in other things for your case management. Then you have another set of products for your billing, and another one for your accounting, because none of it was even, just once people started to integrate all these programs together, it was like a big deal, right? Yeah. And then we just had to deal with every time one person changed a program, we had to fix the integration, and stuff just wouldn't work, and it kept my kids fed. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And so
mine too.
Now that we've got these cloud-based systems, what we're seeing is that next generation where it takes and it puts in all those different pieces. It's not just cloud-based document management. It's not just cloud-based case management. It's not just cloud-based billing and accounting. What's awesome about Cosmolex in particular is it does a really great job of saying, hey, you use this and it should give you everything you need. Now, we do have some tie-ins to other products if you want, but you don't need it. So what I plan on doing today is showing that comprehensiveness and just kind of going through, here's all of the things that it can do. I'm not going to go into details. I want to keep this kind of, unboxing style, 50,000 foot view. I'm not getting into the nitty gritty. If you guys want to chime in with anything, go for it.
And you know what, Dave? You and Vinny know more than I do when it comes to Cosmolex. I mean, it's relatively new to me. I've known about it, I've heard about it, but we've worked with other ones in the past a little bit more before when I was doing all the technology as well with you guys, right? But now that you guys are doing the technology, it's a little different. So I'm going to chime in and ask a bunch of questions. And honestly, I would say I'm going to play stupid, but I'm honestly kind of stupid here, right?
That's great.
So forgive me in advance. So.
I've been waiting for years to hear you just actually admit that. But
wow,
you could have stopped at you and Dave know more than I do. You could have stopped there.
All right,
dude, you guys will get yours one day. One day. You know what? I do have to mute you guys now.
All right, so I say let's just jump into it. I've worked with a ton of different case management systems and practice management systems and billing systems and accounting systems. It doesn't matter what program you're talking about. Everything, the heart of everything starts at your matter. Okay, and so that's where I'm going to start with this unboxing here. And
so let me ask you, Dave. Yeah. I got a cardboard box here, right? Okay. I got a cardboard box. All right. Now, of course, it's already open and stuff like that. But let's just assume right now, here is Cosmolex, right? Tell me what you see when you first get your first out of the box experience with Cosmolex, in your opinion.
So, I've saved that till the end.
Ah, okay.
I've actually got that. Okay, but it's actually at the end. And it's because if I can go through and talk about the pieces, and then I could talk about how it's put together, to me that felt like it made a little bit more sense. So maybe it's not a true unboxing in that sense, but we're still going to cover the whole thing. Okay,
right, get it.
If we're going to open it and we're going to take just that top layer off, all right, which I'm saving till the end, we would start by looking at the matter. And the matter is the heart of everything within a law practice. Your clients don't exist unless they have legal matters that come to you. They don't just sit there and pay you to just hang out. They have issues. They have a problem that needs to be solved. They have a case that needs to be addressed. They have a transaction that needs to be handled. Each one of these are matters. You can have one client, you have multiple matters. And within Cosmolex, we have pretty much what you'd expect when we're setting up matters as the primary containers. So we've got, the date that it's open, who the client's for, how we name it, what kind of area of law, how we're going to bill it, all these various things, okay? Hold on, let me get my slideshow. Hang on.
You're good. Making a post out there for anybody who has questions.
Yep. I was on the wrong screen. There we go. All right, now, if you look here, right from your matter field, we've got the ability to add your clients. Those are your people that you're servicing that would then be tied to the matter. When it comes to clients, it's all the standard information that you would expect to see. What's their name, contact info, if it's an entity versus a person. You've got ability to put in billing information. You've got ability to put in billing addresses versus individual addresses. Custom naming, custom numbering, all that good stuff. So far, everything that's very basic, and this is exactly what you'd see across almost any other practice management system. Okay?
I'm feeling like this is the crumbs at the bottom of the Fruity Pebbles cereal box. Really.
That's exactly right. So what happens is, let's take a step back and talk about case management. You've got sort of a container that everything sits inside of, okay? And that's your matters. And within that big container, you've got all these little pieces, all these little jigsaw puzzle pieces, and they go in and they form the lifeblood of the matter. So the first one that we have there is the contact, because without the contact, if we don't have the client, we don't have the client bringing us the matter. So the first thing that we have in any particular legal matter is we have the client itself. And so we've got the matter, we've created the box. Now we've created the first piece that fits inside that box, which is the contact or the client, okay? Once we've gone through that, then we start adding the other people that are involved in the matter. And Cosmolex does a real good job of adding other parties to a matter. So what kind of parties do we have in any matter? Well, obviously, we've got the client, who we already talked about. You can have other contacts related to it as well, and you can have an entire contact database within Cosmolex. In fact, it's built right in. You can also have your timekeepers. Well, those are all the people that are going to be doing work on that matter. You also have your what Cosmolex calls matter owners, and which a lot of attorneys out there would call like originating partners, because a lot of them will do fee-based allocations and whatnot based on who brings in a client and whatnot. So we can actually allocate fees across timekeepers. We can allocate fees across matter owners, and we can pull this all in when I show you the reporting as we kind of build up this box. Mm-hmm. We'll see how it all comes together. Now, we've got our matter, we've got our key people. So we've got our client, we've got our we got our client, we got our matter owner, originating attorney, we've got our timekeepers. All these people are added to that box. So they're all in here playing in the sandbox now. So the question is, what are they doing? Now, this is where we get into some of the practice management aspects of Cosmolex. And this is the thing that in the past would have been handled by a separate program, say like a Time Matters or an amicus attorney or something like that, okay? And so Cosmolex has done a good job of capturing all the key activities that take place during the course of any legal matter. So if we look here at this screen, you'll notice that we've got a list of all the various activities that can take place in Cosmolex. So for any matter, we can go through and we can create time and expense entries. We can generate invoices. We have emails with our clients or third parties. We've got calendars. So we have our events, our meetings, etc., phone calls that are scheduled, tasks that have to be accomplished, documents that need to be generated, notes that we might take on a client, chat that we might actually have with other members of our team. And then, of course, timesheet, which when I show you will kind of be an amalgamation of all these items.
Yeah, and Dave, just to jump in right here, the emails and the calendars and such, those things can be tied into Outlook as well.
They can. They absolutely can. Yep. So when I get there, I'm going to point out that we can integrate our email and our calendars both through Outlook, so they can be accessed through Outlook, and they can also be directly integrated with Office 365 or Gmail. I think it can also do AOL and Yahoo Mail, but I will tell you that 95% of all my clients are using Office 365. I've got a handful of clients that might be using Gmail, and I really don't have anybody using any of that other stuff. So the integration with Office 365 is huge, and I'm going to show a little bit what that'll ultimately look like. One thing I want to point out, you're going to see a lot of blank screens on here where there's not a lot of live data, and that's intentional because most of the shots that I was taken from, I don't want to show anything that could be confidential, and I was not in a demo database. So I needed to keep it in ours, and I needed to keep it, clean. So if it looks a bit empty, that's intentional. All right. So let's start with looking at our time and expense. This is where all your timekeepers would put in whatever they want. It's all very straightforward. Who was the timekeeper? How much time did you spend? You have options to put in specific rate levels for a particular entry, both flat or hourly, and you can put in all the description of what you're going to do. And this is what will end up being on the invoice that goes to the client. Cosmolex does a good job of distinguishing differences between soft costs and hard costs. For those that aren't familiar with the difference between the two, a soft cost would be items that are assigned, take photocopies. So we go through and we pay a flat rate for our copy machine and our paper and all that stuff. And we don't actually write a check every time we run a photocopy. So what we do instead is we have this soft cost where we allocate and we bill the client per page, per copy, and we track that. And so it would be X amount of cents per page. So Cosmolex has the ability to handle these soft costs. If you look at this screenshot right here, you'll notice what's our quantity and what's our rate and price for that, and then that would be the soft cost. So if we ran, 10 copies at 5 cents a page, there'd be a 50-cent charge on that. Hard costs, on the other hand, are those things where we actually had to go out of pocket specifically for that client. Think of something like a court filing fee. The firm had to go out and we had to write a check or make a charge to a court in order to file a probate, inventory or something like that. Well, Cosmolex handles that with a totally different setup. A lot of the same information, it's still going to tie back to your client, but it's going to specifically say, hey, here's the expense that we incurred, and then that expense gets passed through on the invoice to the client. So Cosmolex does a good job of having separate styles of entry based on the kind of expense that you've incurred that needs to be passed on to the client. Vinny, this is what you were talking about before with regards to email. Now, I don't have a screenshot of the actual integration with Outlook because it's my Outlook and I have personal items that I don't want to show on that. But what you will see here is within Cosmolex, you can actually navigate, if you've got the integration turned on, you can navigate your entire inbox directly from within Cosmolex.
Yep.
So as you send and receive emails to clients, you can actually file those to specific clients and matters.
Yep.
So you'll see here we've got all the various folders and whatnot. Yeah.
Does it build does Cosmolex happen to build folders for you in your inbox or below your inbox, or is that you have to do that yourself?
Vinny, you've done a little bit more with this, haven't you? Because I have not built that automatic preference before.
Do we have that on that?
I'll have to follow up on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's
Let me
follow
get
up
back
on that one because that's an important one for people.
Yep. But the important thing here is that we have to actually set up that integration so that we could tie those trees together. All right.
Yep.
Like anything else, we have an overall calendar view. Just like Outlook. Like I said, again, we can view this in Outlook, but it's synchronized to Cosmolex. So if you want to work within here, we've got our day view, 5-day, week view, and monthly view. And then what you would look over here under the calendars section, if you look towards the left, you've got the calendar with the date picker, and then you've got that calendar. You'll see that big black box. That's just redacted with the other individuals' accounts. You can view multiple people's calendars directly through Cosmolex as well. So whereas, we might be used to viewing multiple calendars through Outlook, you can do the same thing directly within Cosmolex. Task management. This is pretty much what you would expect. The important thing to know here is that in addition to the task name, the start date, the due date, and the estimated hours, is that we've actually got the ability to track our actual hours, which then can be billed to the client. And I'm going to show you a cool feature when we get towards the end that as you're doing stuff, as you're engaging in these various activities, Cosmolex is keeping an eye out to make sure that you're billing the time that you're spending, okay? We talked about document management. So one thing to note, Cosmolex has native document storage built in. So let's say you don't have any other file storage solution at your disposal. That's cool. You can save your documents right into Cosmolex. Now, there are certain limitations and there are some certain restrictions on sharing and co-authoring and things like that. So it's not as comprehensive a solution as the ones that we're seeing on this screenshot right here. So if you want some advanced features, and lots of people already have access to these, let's take OneDrive and OneDrive for Business as a great example. Almost all, like I said earlier, almost all of our clients have Office 365. Therefore, almost every one of our clients have access to OneDrive for Business, which includes at a minimum 1 terabyte of storage per user, awesome co-authoring features, and none of the and I shouldn't say none, but less restrictive parameters on the size of files and this, that, and the other thing that can be saved on it versus Cosmolex. And the integration is direct. So you simply can turn on that integration. Cosmolex will pull in all your documents, list them all, but they're all being saved in that OneDrive for Business that you're already paying for through your Office 365 subscription.
You know what I like about that, Dave, is that you get the mobile app for OneDrive. So you don't have to have your Cosmolex to get to your documents.
Correct. And OneDrive for Business has a ton of really cool live editing features where you can have multiple people in a document working on it at the same time. So you can utilize all the additional functions that come with a OneDrive.
Whoa. Actually, Dave, does this give the ability to actually, since we're in OneDrive, do we have the ability to actually integrate those documents within Teams? I think you
Yes.
might. Yeah,
Yes, we
wow.
will.
That's even better.
Yes, because what will happen is that it'll create the file structure behind the scenes in OneDrive for Business.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the rub there is, remember that a lot of the OneDrive for Business, and this is not a Teams presentation, so maybe we'll circle back for this at a later time. Integration of OneDrive for Business with Teams from a sharing perspective is a little bit different than when we're creating like a SharePoint library.
Right.
So I don't want to confuse for people that have watched some of our prior episodes and we just go, hey, click, here's a location where we all work. It's not that simple, but yes, it can be done.
Sweet.
Cool.
And Jim, you mentioned the mobile OneDrive app, but Cosmolex also has a app for the iPhone and Android as well that you can get from their from their stores. Excuse me.
Yep. You'll also notice that for those firms, those people that are using some of these other case management systems, or I shouldn't say case management, sorry, apologize, strike that. These other document storage services, and we've got all the big ones here. We've got Box, we've got Dropbox, we've got Google Drive. Everybody's familiar with all those in addition to the OneDrive and OneDrive for Business, which anyone with Office 365 already has. And we've also got Net Documents, which is a very legal specific solution, and a lot of people have that, and they're entrenched in Net Documents. And so they're like, well, I don't want to move out of that, but I want to add all this other stuff. Cool. We turn on the integration, and all your Net Document stuff shows up within Cosmolex. So
it's not that simple, but for simplicity of conversation, it's not that simple. We just that's there.
And it's a 50,000-foot view, basically. I mean, you need to bring someone in to help you configure all this stuff, but it can all be done.
Yep.
Okay. We also have integration with our calendar apps. So if you're a Gmail, Google Drive shop, you can integrate with your Google Calendar. Like I said, most of my customers are Office 365, and we can integrate that calendar as well. So you add something in Cosmolex, it goes to your Office 365 calendar, so on and so forth. In that case, if you're using the Outlook mobile app on your Android or your iPhone, you get all the nice features that come along with that because everything gets synchronized to your mobile device.
Wow.
You'll also notice that there's a LawPay integration. For people that don't know what LawPay is, it allows people to make online payments. They have very reasonable fees per transaction and percentage fees. But here's the cool thing that I actually just learned a little bit more recently. And I don't know how long this has been in place, but I always just assumed like you had to have a LawPay subscription. They actually partner with Cosmolex, and your monthly charge for Cosmolex includes your monthly fee to LawPay. So generally, you've got a monthly fee of like $20 per month for LawPay. That's gone. So, I mean, when it comes to affordability and just some of these partnerships and some of these integrations, having the ability to directly integrate LawPay at no fixed fee, meaning you only pay for your transactions that are processed through it, that's an awesome benefit.
So I was digging through this box, Dave, with you. Okay. And so as I'm digging through this box, I find this LawPay gem right here that I wasn't even expecting.
Right.
That's worth.
I mean, and the thing is that there's a lot of online payment systems out there, but LawPay integrates directly. So, for example, if you're using the client portal, which I don't have included in this one, but be aware that there is a client-facing portal where we can share updates with the clients through the web interface. We can share documents with the client with the web interface. We can also integrate LawPay into that client portal. So if somebody goes to their portal to look at their matter, they can also view all their invoices and pay them right there.
Thanks for that, Dave. That's incredible.
Yeah, and for those law firms that are going more virtual and providing different solutions to connect with their customers, the client portal is actually pretty nice, where they can present a lot of different options to their customers, and you can turn different things on and off there as well, as far as what you want them to see and what you don't want them to see.
Yep. And I typically, most of the clients that I work with on this they usually say, hey, we want a client portal. We want transparency. We want visibility. We want our clients to see what's going on. I mean, that's really kind of the move right now.
That's called business value. That's just called bringing value to your client, more than just everybody else. Everybody else is practicing law. Everybody else is creating documents. We're providing a value and transparency, like Vinny said, with Cosmolex.
And I personally feel, and this is another one of these reasons, one of the things we talked at the beginning about the cloud-based solution versus the server-based solution, the ability to interact, the ability to provide resources to your customers, the ability to provide things like a client portal is so much easier when you're using a cloud-based solution like this.
Mhm.
Okay? So that's another huge driver, is to moving from the server-based to the cloud-based practice management systems.
I feel like we're getting closer to the top of the box. Is that right?
Well, what we're doing right here is we're filling in sort of all the little base pieces. So I want you to picture kind of 3 levels, all right? We've got the box itself, which is our matter. Then we've got all the activities and people that are doing the activities at the base level of the box, and we're filling that in right now. And we're coming up towards the very end of that, and I only have 2 more things to really show on that. So let's finish that, and then we're going to move to our middle level, okay? So the final pieces of the base level are notes, and this is literally just little notes that aren't tied to anything else. It's just if you want to add something of informational value to the client, you go ahead and you just put it in here. Very straightforward. And then we've also got our, where'd my chat go? Well, I must have deleted a screenshot somewhere, unfortunately. There is a chat function. If you look right between the notes and the timesheet, you'll see chat. There actually is the ability for you to work and communicate with your other colleagues who are users within Cosmolex directly. So you don't have to go to and use, as much as I love Teams, you don't need to. It can all be tied into this one location so that you can go back to chat histories and whatnot.
And that's for internal users, not
correct.
For customers.
That is correct.
Yeah.
These are all the pieces that make up the bottom layer of the box, okay? And the last thing I'm showing you here is just, this is a consolidated view of all the different activities. As I said, it's very boring because it's doesn't have the live client data in there intentionally. But it would have all the different activities that you do. Well, that's great. That's our bottom layer. We've got people, we've got action. What happens next? Guess what? We need to make sure that we get paid, because if we're not getting paid, then we don't have a firm anymore.
Yeah, we like money.
Yes, money coming in is critical. Doing all the work, not getting paid, means you might as well have just not done the work.
Yep.
So our middle level is based on how do we take all these activities and how do we turn it into revenue for the firm? How do we make sure that we're making money? So this middle level is where you would typically find your billing and your accounting packages. And Cosmolex does an awesome job of handling that as well. Now, one of the unique selling propositions of Cosmolex is that it actually allows you to ditch QuickBooks. Now, I know right there, if I got anyone out there who's a CPA, they're probably screaming obscenities at the screen.
Dave,
but guess what?
We just lost the 0 viewers we had. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And so, but the reality is that one of the huge issues that we've seen throughout the years is taking our billing and accounting system and integrating it into our billing and collection system and integrating it into our accounting system, because, everybody thinks, well, all accounting has to take place on QuickBooks. It's the only one that provides the flexibility that we need. And that's not true. So Cosmolex provides, in addition to keeping time, generating invoices, managing collection of payments, monitoring AR, sending out all that stuff, it also offers a full and complete accounting solution. So you don't have to go get anything extra. Now,
yeah, and one more thing on top of that, Dave. If you do have an accounting firm, they get access to the accounting pieces without having to purchase a license for them.
Correct.
And
a Cosmolex accounting partner is what they're called.
Yep. And they also get free training on how to use the product, what they need to do. So, for those people who are thinking about how we're going to do without QuickBooks, how we're going to get our accountant into this system, they do get access. You do not have to purchase a license for them, and they get free training available to them as well.
Correct.
On that, it actually, I kind of had a thought. If you're a CPA and you're wanting to target a certain vertical, if you can specialize in law firms that have Cosmolex and cloud-based solutions like Cosmolex, that's an incredible vertical. And you can say, hey, I've already been in Cosmolex. I've already worked with Cosmolex. I'm licensed in, this many Cosmolex cloud databases.
Yeah. And the thing is that you can generate, and I'm gonna show all the reporting and all that stuff here in just a few minutes. But I actually know of 2 different companies that have I'm not going to say who they are right now, but I do know of 2 different companies that are doing exactly what you're suggesting, Jim. And from what I know, they're doing really well with it. And so they do position themselves as saying, hey, we can work with your Cosmolex stuff. We can do all your financial reporting, all that stuff. you don't need QuickBooks. You don't need to worry about dealing with the hassle of sending everything to your CPA who requires it.
Let's get permission and let's tag them in the comments after the show.
We will. Yep.
I think they'd like that.
So one of the other things I want to touch on, and I do apologize, I'm going to jump out of order in my slides just a hair. Okay. And I want to go to these reports real quick because I accidentally got some of my slides out of order. I apologize for any confusion that this might cause for anybody. Once we've got all of our, and by the way, I didn't show time entry and invoicing and AR. It's all very much what you would expect as people do the activities. They put their time in at the end of the month. You go through, you have a billing process. What's your invoice date? What time range are we going to pull our activity from? Boom, it applies the rates and it sends the invoice electronically or via paper if you still want to print stuff out. And then we have the ability to collect payments. And if we don't get paid, we have the ability to send reminder emails and all that good stuff. But what I want to show here is when we're talking about the fact that we've got this full accounting program built right into the system, I want to show you, the amount of information that you're able to pull out of this system by using it. So here's just a quick view of all the different reports that are available within Cosmolex. So I'm going to start just right with the accounting stuff. You've got your core financial items. You got your P&Ls, you got your balance sheet and all your other financials, trial balance, general ledger, et cetera, et cetera. You've got a 1099 paid ledger. So if you need to file 1099s at the end of the year, you've got all that information there and how much they've been paid. You can boil down accountings to matter specific, so you can view reports of all your ARs by matter. You can do all your write-offs by matter, all that good stuff. Class-based reporting, this is great if you factor in compensation based on performance of certain matter owners, aka originating partners. You got all the banking information at your hand, so you've got all your in, your out. You've got all your billing stuff, so you can view all your timekeepers, all your time reports. We can view client balance. We can view WIP. We can do pre-bills. We can do all that stuff from directly within here. Collection, if somebody falls below, like if you use evergreen retainers or something like that, you can get an alert and you can run a report anytime somebody falls below their evergreen retainer. Financial productivity, this is a huge one. Yeah.
Hey, let me add. Invoices and reminders on past due balances and such are generated through Cosmolex also to the client.
Yes, and not only that, you can specify and create your own templates for those reminders, and they have some out of the box, but fully customizable. And I'm going to go back to the customization. Like I said, I just got my slides kind of out of order. Okay, so I am going to show that real quick, but I want to touch real quick on here about financial productivity. This is huge because a lot of times we will gauge the productivity of our employees for determining compensation, promotions, bonuses, etc. Sometimes even continued employment. I don't like putting that out there, but I mean, let's face it, that is sometimes a consideration. And so we have the ability to pull up all our reports based on what's our billing by the originating attorney, by the timekeeper, and how are we allocating all our billed and our collected fees. So really good information there. Matter list, this is just, matter activity just shows you everything happening on a particular matter or for a particular client, even if they have multiple matters. All the trust accounting stuff that you would need. So that's all built in. You don't have to do anything special for your IOLTA. Obviously state dependent wherever you're at.
Huge differentiator. QuickBooks does not do this well.
No, it does not do it directly. There are several different, I don't want to say convoluted, but convoluted methods by which people have been doing this for years. But to have something directly integrated into your billing system so that it makes all your IOLTA transactions for you, and I shouldn't say makes them, but records them for you is huge.
Yeah.
And then, of course, tax issues. All right. Let me jump back because, Jim, you mentioned the ability for it to for Cosmolex to send stuff out. And I said, all this stuff's provided out of the box, but we also have a ton of customizability. And so I want to go ahead and just show you right here on our invoices itself, we have the ability to set different templates. We have the ability to set at the bottom the invoice email settings, where it's going to go to if you're going to email it to somebody else. If you want to add custom fields to a particular matter, you have a ton of options here. So you can add fields to matters and clients and whatnot. single line links, drop downs, dates, currencies, numbers, options, all kinds of different things that you can add, so that if something out of the box, if there's something that you want to track that isn't available, you can add that in. We also have the ability to create
for a boutique firm. Sorry, I had to mute. For a boutique firm, for example.
And that's right. Yep. So if there's something out of the box that it doesn't have, you can add it. So there's a lot of customizability. We have the ability to create additional document templates. So we can create, a sample cover letter, and we could put our firm cover letter there, and then it will pull the information from the client, and it'll populate all the address and name information and phone number and all that good stuff.
Dave, these are documents, right? Or these?
Yes, those are documents.
So, I mean, we could theoretically put our golden templates in here, our starting documents for things, and have merge fields in them as well, right?
Correct. Yep. You'll notice there that we have the merge field database functionality, so it can pull information from matters, clients, etc., to populate the fields within our documents.
Great.
We also have the ability to create custom workflows. A workflow is really just a set of tasks, a set of things that happen in the course, that happen consistently and at certain points in time. This is just a very simple scenario. We've got a personal injury workflow. You go in, you create your matter, you add this workflow, and it automatically creates all these tasks, which are assigned. You can make it contingent on prior tasks or from the workflow start date. And these are all customizable. You can build whatever workflow. So if you've got a certain set of steps that takes place on every kind of a specific matter, you can build all that in, and it'll automatically create your timelines and all your task lists for you. So that's huge. Let me skip through my accounting. This is our middle layer. All right. So Jim, you wanted to open the box and you wanted to see what was on top. I kind of went the other way on this. I showed you what was at the bottom, which is your people and your activities. Then I showed you the middle layer, which was how do we actually translate all these people and activities doing stuff into making sure that we get paid and making sure that we're making money. Now we get to the top of the box. The top of the box. Yeah.
I got to tell you, this approach is a good approach because, quite honestly, when it comes to a box of chocolates, I'm usually taking the top layer off, looking to see what's on the bottom anyway.
There you go. There you go. I mean, well, an unboxing is cool. I like to look at it as, you got to build that foundation and then build like the superstructure upon it, and then you can put the facade on, then you can put the finish on. So we've got all this information now in this database, and we have all seen ugly databases before. The question is, how does it become usable? How does it become accessible for your employees? And that's what I want to look at here. Cosmolex has a handful it has 3 key dashboards that are really useful. So we've got a firm-wide dashboard, and the firm-wide dashboard is going to have firm-wide KPIs available to it. It's going to have timekeeper information so you can see what people are doing. Now, this is security specific, whether or not this user can see all the other timekeepers or whatnot. We've got client balances, which again are security specific. We've got this cool one at the bottom called Money Finder. And I mentioned earlier that as you're putting in all these activities, and I mentioned it with respect to the tasks, let's say you have an activity on let's say you have a task on your to-do list, and you go and you do it, but you didn't put any billable hours against it. It would show up in Money Finder and say, hey, you did this thing. You did this document. You sent this email. You had this task. You didn't put any time against it. You might want to build some time here. That's Money Finder. Really cool feature right there in the dashboard.
That's the OBE right there.
Yep.
The open box experience right there.
Yep. We've got the billing summary. We've got the top 5 clients. Remember, this is firm-wide. We've got a personal level dashboard also at the top level. And this is where it's going to show your dashboard. So you log in the morning and you're probably going to go to the Me dashboard. And it's going to say, hey, here's what you got coming up. Here's your meetings. Here's what you have to do. Here's your productivity. Here's your Money Finder. And here's your timekeeping information.
I wish I had something like this in life in general.
I know, right? And so it takes all that stuff that we had at the bottom and middle layer, and it adds on and puts that overlay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, and this one really, it doesn't look like much here, but as you went through and engaged in all those activities, it would allow you to show over the course of a day what you've done. So all that.
So Dave, you put that microwave popcorn in the microwave, right? And it starts to, you get this wonderful smell through the whole house, right? And then you open that bag or a popcorn, and that just hits you in the face, right? That's what you just gave me right there.
Yep.
I just know that this is going to taste good. I just know it because it smells so great.
And there are so many other things that we could dig into from this main screen that I want to point out. I'm going back to the personal dashboard just for like a few seconds to point out that not only do we have this cockpit of information, but we also have the ability to go and create time entries with that green timer at the top. We've got the ability to add new items directly from our dashboard. We've got our plus sign. We can drill down both from the horizontal navigation at the top and the vertical navigation on the side. So we can go into any of these pieces. We can also click through to details from any of these panels on the dashboard. And so we've got the ability to work our entire day from this one place. Okay. And so what that does is it creates a huge productivity boost for all your users. And it's capturing more information. And it's just, it really, Cosmolex has done a great job of taking all the stuff that happens and bundling it up and building it up to this one user-friendly and accessible interface. So that's, I think, with that and being cloud-based, it's a huge win for the firms that are using it.
So, that microwave popcorn I said, now it's spread through the whole office and everybody can smell it and everybody's like, where's that at? I want some of that popcorn. Yep. That's what you've got right there. Yep. It's infectious, right? It's helping the entire organization see where we can improve, where we can do better, where we can, what we have to do, and making a streamlined type of firm actually is what it's doing. Whether you're in the same place or virtual, right?
Yep.
Great job, Dave. Great job. Vinny, anything to add?
No, I there's so much to cover. I think Dave can talk probably for another hour about some of the features.
I could do presentations about any one of these specific subsections.
Yep.
So,
I'm really just taking the 50,000 view today.
But really, this was meant like a high level. I think they did a great job highlighting, the useful things for a law firm on their day-to-day activities. How are they going to manage all those things? That's really what people want to see, and that's really their benefit, right?
I like the approach, Dave. Start with the crumbs at the bottom of the cereal box that everybody else does, and work your way up to the crescendo almost, right?
Maybe we'll start the whole reverse unboxing.
Yeah,
or the reboxing. How about
I think it was fantastic. I think what you gave people a feel for is, it does all the regular stuff, but guess what? Keeps getting better and better and better and better. And now that smell is through the whole office and everybody wants it to. Listen, I don't typically plug, us, right? But I'm going to say, in this situation with a product like this, you can go out, you can try it on your own, or by all means, if you have questions, hit us up in the comments below. If you like this video, we'd really appreciate that. So go ahead and like this video and share it. That's the ultimate, is like when you share our videos. That really helps us out and gives us, in a sense, it's feedback for what we're doing right or what we're not doing so right. And so comment, and share this video if you don't mind. If you want some more information, put your questions in the comments, or you can PM Dave, Vinny, or me directly. But we appreciate your time today, guys. Great job, Dave. Vinny, let's give it to him.
That's great.
That was incredible.
Part of the goals of No Law Firm Left Behind is making your law firm more productive, keeping your employees working, right? And so this is a part of that. This is a tool that you can use for that effect. So we appreciate you guys watching, and we hope that everyone has a good week.
Take care, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Great job, Dave. Bye.